Vegas Video Network Studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip. It's Top of the Food Chain. And now your host, he's 1 part Mohawk, 2 parts attitude, and a touch of what the It's Al Mancini.
Yes, the applause is deafening. Thank you so much, everyone. Hi, welcome to Top of the Food Chain on the Vegas Video Network. I am your host, Al Mancini, basically the charity case of the Vegas Video Network. Scott kind of felt sorry for me and lets me do this. Speaking of charity, though, we will be talking about probably one of the best great causes here in town today, and that is 3 Square, the 3 Square Food Bank, and their gift that they keep on giving to Las Vegas, other than feeding the hungry, which of course is a great gift, but also Restaurant Week, which is in another way feeding the hungry. They're doing it again, second time in 6 months. So we're going to be chatting with Erica Thompson of the 3 Square Food Bank and talking about exactly how important that is in just a second. Also, John Curtas is here for round 3. Yes, the 3rd time I've had him on the show. I think we're at about a draw right now. I haven't checked the judges' scorecard, so we're going to see if I can bring him in for a knockout in just a second. But before we get started, I want to once again thank the folks over at Bread and Butter, our great sponsor. One of the coolest bakeries here in town, run by Chris Herron. It's over in Henderson on Eastern Avenue. Those guys are amazing. Great sandwiches, great lunch. I think they're now open till 4 o'clock, by the way. Just an incredible place to go. Cool vibe, great people. Love to have them sponsoring us once again. Chris also just told me they're going to be doing a St. Patrick's Day event, which hopefully I'll be able to get you more info on next week. So thank you to my friends from Bread and Butter. So before we get started today, I want to talk, the coolest thing about my job is the things you get to see in this town, the behind-the-scenes stuff. And, Sammy Hagar was in town this week, and everybody knows him from his tequila. He has a new line of rum, so he was in town promoting his rum, which is cool. And, he's got a decent little cantina over there. I've had many fun night over there. But when you think Sammy Hagar, you think good booze, and you think, cool place to hang out and get a snack. You don't think of him really as being kind of the gourmet food guy. So lo and behold, who is Sammy hanging out with when I walk into Cabo Wabo Cantina? None other, can we pull up this picture? Emeril Lagasse. Apparently, Sammy's a big foodie, and he and Emeril are buds, and Emeril came along to help him promote his tequila. And I don't know, it's just one of those great behind-the-scenes moments here in Las Vegas that it just makes you realize everybody's a foodie. You never know who's a real foodie in this town. Food's for everybody. We all eat, and really cool to see bump into Emeril and Sammy hanging out together. So there's your little glimpse behind the curtain into my life for this week. Like I said, we've got some great guests coming up. We're going to be talking to Erica Thompson about 3 Square and about Restaurant Week in just a second, which means if you have any questions about any of the restaurants that are participating in Restaurant Week, for either Erica, for myself, for John Curtas, get in the live chat room right now, and this will be your time to ask those great questions. Or, more importantly, if you want to know how to volunteer for 3 Square, you can ask Erica about that too. That's coming up in just a second. Questions for future shows, do that via email, food@vegasvideonetwork.com. Again, you can find all our shows all over the place at vegasvideonetwork.com. Roku carries them. We've got them on iTunes, YouTube, anywhere you look. You see all the great Vegas Video Network programming. And if you want to get in touch with me directly, follow me on Twitter. It's Al Mancini Vegas. Anyway, we've got too much to talk about today, and it's too good a cause for me to chatter any longer about the nothingness that I tend to chatter about. Let's cut to a quick break, and we'll get Erica right out here.
Traditional media believes that after about 3 minutes, you'll tune out. Most Vegas media companies think if it doesn't jiggle, you won't tune in. At the Vegas Video Network, we think both are wrong. The Vegas Video Network is the first and only live online broadcast network that specializes in insider news and expert views about Vegas. We combine great storytelling with the ability to watch when and where you want on your computer, mobile device, or television. Discover the real Las Vegas. Visit vegasvideonetwork.com.
And welcome back to Top of the Food Chain. Again, I'm your host, Al Mancini. Here with me today, a woman I'm proud to call a friend and a colleague, Erica Thompson from 3 Square Food Bank.
I'm glad to be back again.
I thought you were going to let me pour you your first post-pregnancy drink, but you decided not to let me put you off the wagon.
I got to head home to the 4-month-old, so
well,
pass this time.
If I had to head home to a 4-month-old, there'd be a whole bottle on my table. I can assure you of that. But yeah, thanks so much for coming. I mean, I love the work you do. If there is a cause in town that that I consider my personal, closest to my heart, it's 3 Square. It is amazing to me that with all the great food that there is in this town, that we have so many people that go to bed hungry every night. And thanks to you and the great organization, the great work you do, there's a lot less of them going to bed hungry.
Yes, well, I want to say thank you. We really appreciate all your support and all the times you volunteered, brought us onto the show, so we do appreciate that as well.
Oh, no, it's not about me. No love fest here. Just, you guys are great. I suck. I try to once in a while. You did make me eat on food stamps for a week. And that's great. I lost like 5 pounds.
You said you lost
it was
a couple
so
pounds,
cool. Yeah,
so yes.
It was great, and it also taught me a lot. So that's for those of you out there who are not familiar with 3 Square. It is Southern Nevada's largest food bank.
Only food bank.
Only food bank.
And largest hunger relief organization. So we're serving about 40,000 square miles, Clark, Nye, Lincoln, Esmeralda County. So we have a very large service area.
And in addition to going out and, people can come to you, of course, get food, but I mean, your warehouses are monstrous, and it's not like you're giving out one sandwich at a time, although you do that through some of your programs. But I mean, you've got churches that just back up trucks to your door and you load them up and they go out and help people. I mean, you're really the clearinghouse for food.
Yeah, we're more of like a distribution center. We're bringing in that donated, rescued, purchased product, and then we distribute it through our 650 program partners. So we have 250 agencies that are those churches you mentioned, other nonprofits that are coming to the food bank, or we may be going out and delivering to them. So we have a variety of different ways that we can get the food out into the community.
And you still do the backpack lunch program?
The backpack program. We're packing 8,000 bags now a week. So unfortunately, the number has grown since I was here back in, September?
Yeah, and just to explain that to people who aren't familiar with it, I mean, it's a sad fact of life. A lot of kids that don't know where their food's coming from at home, they rely on school lunches. Well, they're not in school on Saturday and Sunday. So what happens when they leave on Friday is they go to a safe place, a place where they're not going to be embarrassed in their school.
Library,
wherever. And someone in their school gives them a small container that's got enough food to get them through the weekend, small enough to throw in their backpack, no stigma attached, and they're able to go home.
Yeah, just a bag, a small bag of food. It comes out to be 11 items, 6 meals, about 3,000 calories worth of product.
Wow. So again, but this is all kind of bummer stuff, and people tune in here to be happy. And this is what I love about your organization, though. Where although you did make me eat a lot of ramen noodles during that SNAP challenge, what you do, and this is now the second time in 6 months, is probably one of the greatest foodie events for Las Vegas. So people can dine out and eat incredible food and do something good for the cause. And that's cool because, it's nice to go and volunteer, but it can depress you sometimes. It's nice to be able to go out and go, wow, I'm having an incredible feast, I'm saving money, and and I'm feeding some hungry kids
Absolutely.
too. Not that I want to call it an afterthought, but it all wraps up nicely together,
Well, if you're going to be going out to dinner anyways, you might as well go out, especially during this week, because you're getting to enjoy a meal while you're helping somebody else enjoy a meal as well.
Right. And Restaurant Week, which starts on Monday.
Mm-hmm. 27th.
And it runs a full week, right? 7 days. And this, a lot of restaurants, how many do you have participating?
We're up to 107.
Okay, so some great, and you can see them on the screen, some of the better restaurants, best restaurants here in town. And they've all put together special prefix menus, which are, fixed price. They can range from $20.12, $30.12, or $50.12.
Correct.
At the vast majority of these places, that is an incredible bargain over what you're going to find if you try to eat this food there any other week of the year. So, I mean, this has become a thing for foodies, not only in Las Vegas, but I know people from out of town that plan their trips to Las Vegas around Restaurant Week because they can eat out 2 meals a day for the whole, 3 or 4 days that they're here and not break the bank and still dine at these incredible world-class restaurants.
It's a great opportunity for tourists and locals alike. And as you mentioned, we just had an email from someone on the East Coast who was inquiring about Fall Restaurant Week. And when we told them about spring, they were like, oh, this means I'm going to come to Vegas twice a year now because, they really want to experience all these great dining establishments that we have in our city.
I mean, seriously, it's honestly worth it. I mean, if you figure the amount of money you're saving if say you're here 3 or 4 days, the amount of money you're saving on these 6 to 8 meals, if you really take advantage of this program, you can pay for your airfare.
Yeah.
And, rooms are dirt cheap here right now. So
and it's not just dinner time, it's lunch and breakfast menus as well.
Are there breakfast? I didn't notice any breakfast
Serendipity.
Menus. Okay, so yeah, so you could honestly, then you're saving, 9 meals in 3 days. even if you're saving 20 bucks a meal, you're saving enough for, $180, at least a one-way ticket, depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from LA, it's definitely paying for gas, So that's great. Why the second one? It was weird. We just had one in the fall. This is usually an annual event.
So it's been held in September for the past 5 years, and we've had such a huge success with the Fall Restaurant Week. We decided we would try out a Spring Restaurant Week in addition to the fall one. We also want to keep up with great culinary cities such as San Francisco or New York. We have an amazing culinary community here, so we want to keep in line with them. They're doing it twice a year, so we said, Vegas needs to be doing it twice a year as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, you did a 2-week one in September, but that was just because it was the 5th anniversary,
Correct.
Right?
So we're just back to 1 week now. So 1 week in the spring and 1 week in the fall.
So definitely, yeah, if you're watching in some other town, seriously, if you're a foodie, if you're watching the show and you're into Vegas food, plan your trips to Vegas around these events. It's just the best way to try out this food. The question I get a lot, and I'm sure you get it frequently, is how much of the money from each of these meals is going to 3 Square?
So each restaurant can choose a different donation amount to give back at either $4, $5, or $6. So it just depends on the restaurant. What's really unique about the Spring Restaurant Week is that we actually have a matching challenge happening right now. So any funds coming in now through April 30th will actually be matched. So right now, basically, instead of $1 equal 3 meals, your $1 is equaling 6 meals. So it's a little bit more incentive for people to go out during Restaurant Week because their money's going to go even further for us.
Yeah, so to explain what she's saying about the 3 meals, 3 Square, I don't know where you guys shop or how you're able to do it, but every dollar that somebody puts in a bucket for 3 Square, writes you a check for, or that you get from Restaurant Week contributions, every dollar you're able to buy 3 meals.
Correct. Our overhead, or 93 cents of every dollar is right to services and food. So we only have 7 cents of overhead, which is almost unheard of for nonprofits. So we're extremely efficient and extremely effective at how we spend our funds.
Yeah, so the thing is, if a restaurant is giving, if they're doing the lowest participation they could possibly do, and say you go to $20 meal, they may probably be doing the lowest, I don't know, but let's assume that. So you're spending your $20 on the meal, $4 of that goes to 3 Square. That would normally buy 12 meals for people, and because there's a match, it's buying 24 meals.
Correct.
That's just amazing that I could spend $20 on an incredible bargain or any of these bargains, and I know for at the very least 24 people are getting a meal. And then if you go up to the $6, I don't know, there's a math and carry the 1, but anyway, it's whatever. It's
too late in the day.
36,
math, right?
I think,
yeah.
But I'm not really sure. So yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. How much did you make last Restaurant Week? Now I know it was 2 weeks less.
We made a little over $200,000. So basically, it's 600,000 meals in the community that we have been able to provide. So Restaurant Week to date has already provided over 1 million meals out in the community just from this one event.
Any place you're planning on going?
I'm excited about Grape Street. They're participating. I've dined in there a few times. Been kind of nagging them, saying, hey, you really get on board, and they're finally on board this year. And just talking about Grape Street, they're not the only new one. We have over 25 first-time participating restaurants. A cut above at Mount Charleston, they're participating. So if you're making a plan, trip out to the mountain, do some skiing, you can also dine out that week.
Is that the one in the hotel or in the
at the resort?
Cabins?
At the resort.
Okay. So yeah, absolutely great. Great way to try out new restaurants in this town. Without breaking the bank and while doing something good to help. How many hungry people do you feed? How bad is the demand?
Right now we're serving 100,000 people. The need, however, is 300,000. So we're not even there yet. So programs like Restaurant Week will help us continue to raise the funds so we can reach the 300,000 people. Last year we distributed 24.9 million pounds of food. Almost 80% of what we are distributing is coming from out of state. So we really need to raise the funds so we can actually purchase that product to get it in here so we can get it into the hands of those who need it.
And if people want this, we have the website up right now, but if you tell them what the website is?
To look at the restaurants,
yes.
Just log on to helpoutdineoutlv.org. One of the features we have this year is you can search by cuisine, you can search by location, as well as search by price point.
Very cool.
Try to make it as easy as we can.
And if people just want to get involved with 3 Square?
Log on to our website at 3square.org. You can find out volunteer opportunities, other events that we have going on throughout the year. I encourage you to sign up on our newsletter. We send out one every month for everything that's happening. You can do food drives. There's just a lot of different ways to get involved with us.
And you have really cool shirts. I didn't know that you guys even had merch.
Our logo wear.
Yes. So can we buy that somewhere?
We can get you a shirt, I'm sure.
Well, what if everybody wants to spend money and buy it, though? We should, Okay, anyway, I won't bug you on that one. Okay, sorry, but,
That's okay.
I'm fashion conscious. You can tell,
We'll get you a shirt, though.
Okay, I would appreciate it. I'll wear it quite frequently. Well, look, I've got John Curtas here. He and I don't agree on very much. We agree that people should dine out at Restaurant Week. So he's going to come on, and we're going to tell people where we think they should go. And, of course, but seriously, people, there's a whole huge group. You don't have to listen to John, but if you got questions for John, get in the chat room right now. Erica, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Be back with John and some rum right after this.
Let me know when I'm live. Hi, everybody. This is Bridget Magnus of Getting Real Estate in Vegas, and you are watching the Vegas Video Network.
And we're back at Top of the Food Chain. I'm Al Mancini. John Curtas is here, and he's brought the rum.
Yeah, I mean, come on. How else can I get?
You're not going to pour it in the water, are you?
Well,
pour it in the wine glass.
Okay.
Jeez.
How else can I get through 15 minutes with you?
I don't know, man.
Sloshed. Jeez.
Well, fire me up.
At least you show some good taste. You don't do not in the way you look, but at least what you drink.
Yeah, well.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay.
Fair, Jerry.
Let's not talk about what we don't agree on. Well, for now, we'll get into some things because you've been picking some fights with some of our other restaurant critic friends.
Because they're all idiots. That's why I pick fights.
So we're going to talk about who you think are idiots because you've got a new target. But first, let's talk about the positive. Restaurant Week, man.
Restaurant Week. I love Restaurant Week. What's not to love?
Yeah, seriously.
3 Square. I mean, it's wonderful stuff.
Great cause, great restaurants.
Great. I mean, and serious deals. I mean, come on. I mean, some are better than others. We agree on that,
Absolutely.
right?
There are a few that that I go, well, I love the place. I recommend going there any week of the year. You know what I mean? And some are just like I could never afford to eat there. And I mean, there's one of your choices. If I didn't get comped, I would never have eaten there in my life.
Yeah. We're going to go through the graphics now. We're going to wait for a minute.
Let's go through your choices. The 5 recommendations you have.
And I for once, I agree with Mr. Mancini about something, and it's that you look for serious deals. And steakhouses, I know you're a critic of a lot of steakhouses, but they tend to be very expensive restaurant. So, I mean, you can easily go to $75, $80, $100 a head in a steakhouse. So Strip House is an under-the-radar steakhouse of mine that I really like because it's in Planet Hollywood. I mean, beautiful decor, a lot of naked girls on the wall, nothing wrong with that. And I think that's a serious deal.
So, I mean, I want to talk about each of them individually, so we don't have to keep that all up there. But, that's 4 courses for $50.
Yeah, it's a good deal. And Bar Masa is a wonderful, Bar Masa. I think you disagree with Payard, though.
Well, we'll go through them. Like Strip House, first of all, I've never been there, to be honest. It's in Planet Hollywood.
It's a good steakhouse.
I don't go there very often.
It's hard to get in and out. Planet Hollywood's a pain in the neck to get in and out.
I mean, you've got to really, if you want to ever get your car in valet, you've got to go all the way around to the shopping center valet, and then you got to walk, which, of course, maybe it helps you work out for your meal.
Well, whoever designed Planet Hollywood should be shot, okay?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's one of those hotels that I just think, you walk through and go, who in the hell thought of this place?
But Strip House is worth the trip.
And Bar Masa, for sure. I mean, right? Do you agree with Bar Masa?
Bar Masa, absolutely. Bar Masa, if it wasn't on your list, Bar Masa would have been on my list.
I mean, it's $100 a person easy.
You could. I've honestly spent, and I haven't actually spent it, but I got it as a comp, $125 a person. I saw the bill, so I knew what to tip on it. We check the bills even when we're comped. I spent $125 a head in Bar Masa, and my date and I were so hungry when we left there that we went to Julian Serrano and ate more. And so here you go. You're able to get 4 courses, I believe. It's 3 or 4 courses at Bar Masa for $50 a head. Yeah. I mean, the finest, most exquisite Japanese cuisine.
They fly in their seafood from the Sea of Japan. I mean, it may have a huge carbon footprint, but I mean, the sushi sashimi there, Al, is just exquisite stuff. And you can and almost, I mean, I don't want to hurt their business because I love what they do there, but it almost makes more sense to go to their restaurant week than any other week. Yeah. Because for normal mortals that don't want to throw down $400 for dinner, this is the time to go.
Yeah, if you're seriously, like, if you were in LA and you decided to fly into Vegas, get a hotel room for one night, and have the restaurant week menu at Bar Masa, that would be cheaper than coming to Vegas, than just walking to Vegas and eating at Bar Masa normally. So it's an incredible deal. Next up, Eiffel Tower. This is one of your lunches. This is one of the least expensive picks of yours, $30.
And it's gorgeous French food, and you can't. The view alone is worth $30 a person. I mean, and it's just you get to see the Bellagio fountains. Women love it. It's actually a nice place for a business meal. I mean, I've just gone there and grabbed, one of their lunch specials. I mean, it's just a wonderful little restaurant. It's not a little restaurant. It's a big, fancy restaurant. It's also a very expensive restaurant. And at Restaurant Week, it's worth going to.
And Chef Jean-Jo, of course, he does this is a very classic old Vegas style of French. There's not a lot of crazy food that's going to scare you on the menu. There are a few if you look hard, but it's mostly things people are going to recognize. Guys are in tuxedos, beautiful view of the Bellagio fountains.
Nice wine list, great cocktail program. You can't beat the view is just spectacular, and the food is classical French, but not heavy. I mean, but they do just like classic tornadoes, Rossini, and things like that. Kind of old school stuff, but they really execute it well.
And then, of course, you have Sirio. This is a Macchione family restaurant, the same family that owns the Cirque and owns Circo. So my question is, why did you choose Sirio at $50? It's the most expensive, 3 courses for $50. That's for Restaurant Week. That's the priciest it goes. Yeah. Why choose Sirio over Circo, which is kind of generally considered a higher class restaurant?
Well,
owned by the same people, same great cooking, but
I think for Restaurant Week, first of all, I think Circo's a more formal restaurant. Okay, and I think it's not formal by any stretch. You and I can walk in.
It's not Le Cirque.
Yeah, it's not Le Cirque. Right. But Circo's a little more expensive, a little more upscale. And for Restaurant Week, you get couples and people gonna hit a lot of places. I think there's kind of a more fun vibe almost at Sirio. It's kind of very loose. They have a cafe out front. It's a good place to experience good Italian cooking. And they also just have the best cheeses there. It's got the most wonderful Italian cheeses. So I love
a great restaurant. I love all Macchione restaurants.
They're all good. But I think Sirio is a good place for people who have not eaten in either one of them. Sirio is entry-level Macchione Italian food.
Okay. And then you chose Paillard. Now look, I love Paillard. Francois Paillard, most people go for the desserts, but they have an incredible 3-course lunch and 3-course dinner. Restaurant Week menu, but they do a prefix menu all year round. That's always a good deal. So this is where I love this restaurant. I would never say anything negative about Paillard. I would just tell people you can go there really 52 weeks a year and you're going to have an incredible meal at a great price.
Agreed. The lunch is not the deal that the dinner is. The daily lunch special is about that all the time. But Paillard's food is so exquisite. I mean, the pastries alone, I mean, the bread, the pastries. I mean, you take a bite of that stuff, you're transported to the left bank of Paris.
And it's also the most intimate fine dining restaurant, French restaurant in Las Vegas. It only seats maybe, 30, 35 people.
I think maybe 40 tops.
Okay. And you feel like you're, as Max Jacobson, I think, put it, he said, it's like you're inside a wedding cake. I mean, it's a really bizarre, to me, I describe it as kind of Dr. Seuss on acid, as if Dr. Seuss needed any more acid than he was already on.
Always with the drug references, Mr. Mancini.
But yeah,
I mean, come on.
Very cool. Okay, so we don't disagree pretty much on anything.
Okay, let's see my wrong-headed picks.
Okay, we'll throw them all up there right now. But first of all, I've got the least expensive pick of all of ours. Fleur by Hubert Keller has a lunch for $20.12, 3 courses, and a dinner for $30.
When did they start serving lunch at Fleur?
Fleur's always been open for lunch.
What?
You really need to kind of research things.
Yeah, I need to get out more.
About food.
Yeah.
And here's the deal about Fleur. A lot of people I know kind of may have thought it got off to a rough start. It was a little iffy in the beginning.
I still think it's iffy.
One day it was hit and miss. One day it was a home run. Next day it was miss. They never, in the early days, they didn't have a chef who was really committed to merging the fine dining with the casual dining. Yeah. Their chef, Steve Wolf, who was a brilliant chef, he came in to be a fine dining chef. I don't think he ever was with Hubert Keller with that menu.
I agree.
Right now, I don't know if you're there, but Laurent Pillard is back in the kitchen.
I didn't know that.
He was the chef at Fleur de Lis.
Right.
I was just in there the other day.
By the way, serious chops.
He is incredible. Yeah. I was in there to watch. We were on TV. Did you see us on TV?
I saw our little 18 seconds of fame there.
Yeah, that was really cool. If anybody was watching
Saturday
afternoon on ABC, there was the big time. Hubert Keller was the chef. John and I were kind of, background noise for Hubert.
Well, they let all 3 of us say something, which was nice for the editors. But you put a comment on the food, I did, and it was. That's kind of a weird show, but I thought it was fun to watch. I watched all
to get back, I went into Fleur because that's where it was filmed, and I went there to watch the show. And Hubert and Laurent sent out some incredible dishes, brand new on the menu. Laurent's back in the kitchen. He's the corporate executive chef for all of Hubert Keller's restaurants. He's 100% committed to the concept. And if anyone did have, and like I said, I've always liked the place, but I have had friends who have hit and miss experiences there. If anyone ever had a miss experience at Fleur, it is time to go back and check it out again, and this is the week to do it because you could get a 3-course lunch for $20.
I'll give you that. I did not know about Pillard being back in the kitchen, in its heyday, about 5 years ago when Fleur de Lis was going, Pollard was the chef, and he was, I mean, it had some spectacular food. It was too good for the rest of Mandalay Bay. The patrons there never appreciated it. So I'll give you that. Let's see your list.
Mosen Bistro. They're doing a lunch for $30. It's a 4-course bento box lunch.
Then that's I'll go with
$30.
Mosen is a very underappreciated place and has really, really good chefs.
It was in the first edition of our book. It didn't make the second edition, not because it got any worse, just because we were making room for other places. But I do.
Yeah, we did. We kind of bumped it out.
We just kind of bumped it, but it is still a really, really excellent restaurant. It can be pricey, and to be able to do a lunch there, 4 courses, bento box style, you're getting a ton of food and $30. You know, it's great. And it's in the Mandarin Oriental, which just walking through the Mandarin Oriental, you feel like you have servants.
You feel like there should be a carriage waiting for you outside when you get done with your meal. Mosen has to please some of the most finicky, international, rich people in the world.
Yeah.
So and a lot of whom are Asian. So you've got to give their Asian food. I mean, they have spectacular Asian food there because their clientele pays for it, and those. So for Restaurant Week,
I mean, when I was a kid, you always used to hear about the Four Seasons and the Ritz-Carlton. That was like, that was the fancy stuff. And when I got old enough to stay in them, I was like, well, this is cool, but it's just a nice hotel. Mandarin Oriental is one of those places where you feel like, you're just really.
It's also a very romantic restaurant at night. It turns into from a coffee shop. But it's also very romantic at night.
Okay. How about, speaking of romantic, a place that I had
get your hand off my
while. I think incredidible restaurant Sage, and I haven't been back in a long time.
I recommended that. Sage is fabulous, and I can't disagree. Sage is just a really solid place, and women love Sage. So, gentlemen, if you want to get lucky, Restaurant Week Sage, that's how you do it, right there. Okay.
Yeah, it is cool. It's a super cool restaurant, and I love the food. Unfortunately, a couple of my favorite dishes aren't on the menu, but a few of my favorites are, so it should be cool. Here's one, and I'm curious your thoughts on it. Ariole. They've undergone some changes recently, but it's still Ariole. And to be able to do a 3-course meal for $50, the only thing that scares me is the dessert, because I don't know who's doing their dessert now that Megan Romano has left. But I think if you're going to take a chance on the new staff at Ariole, this is the week to do it. And I do want to take that chance.
Vincent Pucel is a great chef. I love the guy. Oriole's a huge restaurant. It's always kind of batted, it's punched above its weight almost, if you want to call it the boxer analogy. Because a restaurant that big should not have food that good. But it always does. What gives me pause, though, is there is a lot going on at Mandalay Bay right now. Now, I'm not criticizing the restaurant. It's a good deal. I'm with you, Al, on that. But Oriole is a restaurant I'm looking at very closely. They have closed restaurants in Mandalay Bay. I think there's a certain house cleaning going on. They fired Megan Romano, 2 front-of-the-house people, a sommelier, Willie Shearer, sommelier of the year.
He was probably one of the finest sommeliers he was at Ariole. Megan Romano, without a doubt, one of the best, if not the best pastry chef, maybe Kamel, but pretty close.
Right up there, exactly. And so you've got all these great people, and then they do a house cleaning a couple months ago and get rid of everybody, or a few months ago now, right? And I'm just kind of curious about it. So,
well, that's my reasoning, is that I want to go and see how it's holding up.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to go, I don't want to go
the money.
And pay
Restaurant Week is the time to do it.
Restaurant Week.
I'm with you.
And then my final one is a place I haven't been to.
Yeah.
Because I've always been told it's really great food, but it's pricey as hell.
Yeah.
And that's Blue Ribbon.
I'll give you that one too. I'll give you that one too, because Blue Ribbon is insanely expensive. Okay. And I like the Brombergs again, but there are certain restaurants in this town that I think are priced to soak the tourists. And I feel like Blue Ribbon is one of them.
Yeah, and a lot of people have told me that. And when I'm on my own dime, I haven't had a business reason to go in. And so if I'm on my own dime, I just don't go there. But the Restaurant Week menu, it's 4 courses, I believe. It includes sushi from their sushi bar and their fried chicken, which
the fried chicken is famously good with good reason. And this is Blue Ribbon, Bar Masa are Restaurant Week choices. The raison d'etre of Restaurant Week. You can go there and eat a great meal, experience place at 50% less than you would normally pay for the exact same food. So that Blue Ribbon is hard to argue with. And I love the place. It's one of those places that you kind of walk in and go, they're waiting for Mr. Rich Business Guy, conventioneer, high roller to come in and throw down the big credit card. That's the way it's priced.
And it's a little tough because of the fact it is in Cosmopolitan, surrounded by so many other incredible restaurants.
But great looking women everywhere.
And you I don't know. You insult. That's the second you talked about naked women at strip house, and you talking about the women here, and yet you criticize me for hanging out with porn stars. I don't get it.
I'm just incredibly horny out. What can I tell you? Okay.
And yet you criticize me for hanging out with porn stars.
It's time I admit it. Okay. I go. And you know, when I get worse, the more liquor I have.
You haven't even finished the first shot yet, man, and I'm already getting a refill.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm going to be talking that way. Sorry, Mom.
So we've done the positive.
Okay.
Now let's do what you do best, the negative. Man, you are picking fights this week. You apparently went to Leonard Skinner Bar and Grill.
Oh!
Barbecue and hated it.
Oh, you're going to ruin my night just thinking about it. And Brock Radke? Are you listening, Brock? Are you
well, this
Max
is it.
Frickin' Jacobson?
I am used to you yelling at me and yelling at Max, and that's fine because we're kind of competitors. Brock works at your own paper.
Yeah, I know.
And you called him out, and you called him out this week.
I know because I think what I think is sometimes guys like Brock and Max and you. Sometimes,
don't blame me. I've never been to Leonard Skinner.
I'm painting you all with the same brush. Okay, is what I do. I think what they do is they get lazy. They go there. They get the PR schmooze, and then they end up going, hey, this meat is great. And here's what they told me. The owners went all over America looking for the best barbecue. And Chef, Joe Doblovich is, committed to great stuff. It's just a big PR blowjob. They buy it hook, line, and sinker, and then they write good things, and they don't even think about what the food's really about. And Leonard Skinner is not the worst barbecue I've ever had, but in the bottom 5.
I've never written a review based on what PR people tell me. The places I review generally don't have PR people.
Well, I also think let me get a little more fundamental.
This week, Great Bow, by the way.
Great Bow, which is great, fabulous.
No PR person there. No blowjob there.
It's got 3 seats. It's got 3 tables.
It's in a hair salon. It's literally in a hair salon.
It literally is in a hair salon.
Pick up this week's City Life. Great Bow, incredible. But anyway.
But just to call out Max, and they really don't know what they're talking about. It would be like, them reviewing barbecue is like me reviewing the Bolshoi Ballet, okay? But they go there and they go, it's a barbecue sandwich with thick, gloppy, starchy sauce on it. This is great because the PR person told me how much they want it to be great. And you Yankees know nothing about this kind of food, and they should just stay away from it.
Brock, you can come on next week.
Yeah,
he was here in the audience a couple weeks ago. I didn't say any of this.
Well, Brock has got. I'm kind of mad at Brock because he also gave a big blowjob to Mastro's, which is the worst steakhouse in town. Okay,
I've never eaten there actually. All the places you're complaining about, I've stayed away from.
I think a guy like Brock, and I love the guy. He needs to, having done this now and being an old veteran of this, you know this, you have to work your way up and establish your credibility and think about it. And then, but when you can lose your credibility like you can your trustworthiness like that. And all you have to do is give a blowjob to a place like Mastro's, and no one's going to take you seriously anymore.
Scott, how much editing are you going to have to do for this to make radio?
I can't say blowjob on the air.
Well, you have, so it doesn't really matter at this point. You're not sure he's going to have to look it up.
BJ, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, man. So, anyway, I apologize to Brock and Max for that.
Max, those guys, they should stick in their wheelhouse.
It is so nice once in a while for it not being aimed at me from you.
Now, you haven't pissed me off in like a month or so now.
Barbecue in this town, though. Look, I'm a Yankee, and yeah, where I grew up, barbecue basically meant, you just put something on the grill and you slathered barbecue sauce on it. I went and kind of learned about barbecue because I write about food and I interviewed experts and things like that. And of course, it's all about the smoke. Barbecue sauce should be served on the side.
You like Harry-O's?
I like Harry-O's, but you know what my favorite dish at Harry-O's was? Their fried catfish, not their barbecue.
I'll give you that one. Amazing. But the fried catfish isn't bad, but I think Harry-O's doesn't have a clue as a barbecue guy.
He does
he's a nice fellow.
He smokes it for 4 hours instead of 12, and so it's not perfect, but for what it is and for the price point and the fact it's right across the street from Olympic Gardens, so you can go get a lap dance right afterwards. Yeah, I like the place.
And love a custard, so you can get you can get your rocks off, you can get you can get barbecue and some ice cream all at the same time. Yeah. That's great.
And I like the place, and I do think they have one of the best fried catfishes in town.
Well, I hope but I insist as a purist. When he told me that we smoke it for 4 hours, I went, what? And then I tasted it. And I said it's just like a blob of of shredded pork meat.
But at least he actually smokes it, and he smokes it in-house.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places that do what I did on the East Coast, which is they just grill or, I don't know, boil their meat or whatever they do, and they slap barbecue sauce on it.
Or they put it in a barbecue kettle for a while to get some smoke. But the real ones, the Arthur Bryants of the world and the Maurice's Piggy Park in South Carolina, they put it down there. What?
The blue light is on. It's the blue light special. Oh, that means you're not going to be drinking this. I'll pour it into mine.
Like I said, I'm the only one who should be talking about barbecue. Okay.
And on that note, we got nobody in the chat room. That was sad, but
well, I will.
Okay, well, not us, God forbid. Yeah. Well, anyway, John, man, honestly, we didn't fight. This round is a draw, except I think
I was ready to go at you over Harry O's, but he's a single guy trying to make some money, so I'm going to leave the guy alone.
I think you TKO'd Brock and Max, but only because they're not here. You pick on people.
I'll go toe-to-toe with those guys anytime over writing puff piece reviews over, and it gives people the wrong idea. We are consumer advocates. We need to be there on the side of the consumer.
Okay.
All right.
Brock has been invited down to the show. I hope he'll come down soon and talk about you behind your back for a little while, because he and I could have fun with that. Anyway, look, seriously, John, it's a good cause. Thank you for coming for the
Ash
good cause.
Wednesday, I'll put this on. Oh, it's Ash Thursday.
Ash Thursday,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm very religious.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you hear the rumblings?
The important thing, Restaurant Week.
Restaurant Week 2012, and I love the concept of two times a year.
Absolutely. And then the second most important thing, buy our book, because John and I need to make money, and Max Jacobson needs to make a little money. Eating Las Vegas, the 50 essential restaurants, the 50 restaurants that 3 authors who don't like each other could all agree on. And then the vetoes, where if you think the stuff you're hearing now is bad, wait till you read what we say about each other in the veto section.
Next year's going to be, the gloves are really coming.
We're already really starting to think about 2013 edition.
Yeah, we are. We're selling well, so it's good.
It's crazy. In the meantime, happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Sue.
Happy birthday, Sue.
Cooked her a great birthday meal yesterday. We're having a birthday party for her tomorrow.
Lamb shank? What do you do?
Yeah, braised lamb shank from Scott Conant's cookbook with creamy polenta.
Oh.
Not the instant stuff, real. From scratch.
Takes some time when you got to stir.
An hour and 45 minutes of stirring it.
Yeah. What's good for the old?
Anyway, so happy birthday, Sue. Okay. I'll be back next week. I think we may be talking shrimp. John's head will explode because I may have people from a shrimp farm here in Las Vegas, which he hates. And not 100% sure, but tune in next week. We'll have something fun. Just keep tuning in. Bye.